Ahoy there, today on the Red Sea, what is your best accidentally racist story? I was bartending one evening and an African American gentleman came in. He sat at my bar, ordered a pint of Bud Light, and started watching the game. After I poured his beer, I entered his name in the computer system as BL Guy, for Bud Light Guy. I never considered that he may not read it as such when I gave him his check. Good thing he did not order chicken 2. Cause then he could have been BLCK Guy. In high school we had to make fake products for a commercial during my speech class. My best friend lived on a farm and used meow mix as bait to catch raccoons. So, he drew a crude image of a raccoon and put it on a bag of meow mix. He called it Coon Catcher. He proceeded to sing a modified jingle that proceeded as coon 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 coon. Coon 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 coon. Coon Catcher. I was sitting in the back of the room losing my malarkey during this whole presentation. When he sat down next to me, he asked how he did. I said it was great except for the accidental blackface character he drew while attempting to draw a raccoon. He was mortified when he realized what he had done. I was once friends with a black guy who had plans of becoming a pastor. We always made jokes about it because he was a really laid back sort of guy and someone you really would not expect to be religious in the first place. Anyway, I was giving him a bit of grief for it, cracking jokes about how he really just wanted to start a cult. I made a comment along the lines of, yeah, I'm sure everyone will have a great time up until the point you whip out the grape Kool-Aid. He stopped smiling and went dead silent. It took me a solid 30 minutes to realize that he probably did not know who Jim Jones was and just thought I was being racist. Sort of related, but a cute story. Ex-girlfriend used to live next door to a black guy and a white guy and they were best friends. Like the kind of fun-loving best brothers only depicted in movies. Every now and then we could hear them just chillin' shooting the malarkey. One day the black guy's going to the store and says to his roommate "It'll be right black," to which the white roommate replies "It'll be white here." Bromance. I was going to take a ride on the cableway with my girlfriend and I was checking the prices on the ticket booth. I said to my GF it'd be nice if anyone was around to sell us tickets when I hear a cough from inside the booth. There was a black woman there that I had not seen, seeing as the booth did not have any light. To sum it up, ticket booth was dark. Did not see black lady inside. I had just read Where the Red Fern Grows and I was on an airplane with my father. Thinking it sounded cool, I asked my dad what's the best way to skin a coon. Obviously I was referring to raccoons, but the black guy sitting in front of us took it in a different way. In US history class in high school, we were learning about how America was like a melting pot of different cultures. My teacher said that a better analogy of America is a tossed salad because of how different groups tended to cluster together a la Chinatown. After the teacher said this, one girl spoke up and said, "Oh, I get it. A tossed salad is better because you can just pick out the things that you do not like." Everybody just looked at her for a minute. She realized what she said a few seconds later and apologized profusely, saying that is not what she meant. Sophomore year in high school I found a new friend group and moved myself in. During the introduction process there was one Asian girl, and when I asked her name, she said Ching Ching. I said, "No, really? Apparently her whole family has names like that. Her mom's name is Ling Ling." My boyfriend was at university training to be a primary school teacher. For part of one assignment, he had to pick an iconic object from history. He chose the Spitfire to research and write about. No problem there. The second part of the assignment was to reimagine history as if your chosen iconic thing had never existed, and to make some kind of arts and crafts type object representing this new reality. So, his reasoning went thus. Spitfires were instrumental in some key British victories during WWII. Therefore without Spitfires, Hitler would have won the war, and so Nazi Germany would have kept hold of all the best scientists, and the Nazis would have been first to land a man on the moon. His art and craft, then, was a big old papier-mâché moon, with an even bigger Nazi flag sticking out of the top at a jaunty angle. He was proud of his creation. He had never papier-mâchéd before, and to be fair it turned out impressively well, and brought it home to display on top of the bookshelf in our lounge. I never gave it a second thought, kind of forgot it was there really, until one day when I was clearing up, moving a few things around, and realized that basically every single person who'd been in our house for the last 6 months had been confronted with a giant Nazi flag on arrival, including both sets of neighbors, one of whom are Jewish. I really intended to explain to them once I realized what had happened, but I keep putting it off because the story is long-winded and also kind of ridiculous. And I think the explanation will be the most awkward 10 minutes of my life. Also, how do you just bring that up in conversation? So, you remember that time you came round and we had that giant Nazi flag up in the lounge? My friends drove to Armad in high school and there were not enough seats in the car. They drew straws to see who would have to ride in the trunk, and it ended up being the only black kid in the group. I wish I could have been there to see people's reactions to a group of white kids pulling a black one out of the trunk of their car. I have a similar story. When I still could not legally drive with more than one other person in my car, my black friend offered to ride in the trunk to avoid getting me into any trouble. We sure thought we were smart back then. Good thing I did not get pulled over, or that would have been hard to explain, especially if I insisted my friend volunteered to be in there. I decided to dress up as Gandalf for Halloween 2 years ago. At the time I was living in a primarily black and Hispanic neighborhood in New York City. I had to run out, in costume, to grab some ice and beer for the party we were about to host, and figured I'd just run out without throwing a coat on over my costume. I get to the corner, where 3 large black guys are hanging out when one notices me, my white robes, and pointed hood ... Big dude, you think that malark is funny white boy? Me, oh malarkey ... No, you know Lord of the Rings? I'm Gandalf. Pretty sure I'm about to get beaten. Big dude, thinks for a second. Oh, hells yeah. Gandalf's my nigga. Everything worked out better than expected. So this did not happen to me, but I heard this from a friend when I lived in Japan. The word nigga means bitter in Japanese. But when you drink or eat something bitter you usually shout in surprise and say nigga because the I sound is often omitted just because it's easier. So friend is sitting at a coffee shop and there are black people at the table beside. He sits down with his friends and sips his drink then yells nigga. The man at the table next to him turns and kind of laughs. But he realizes what has done, since that word is very famous thanks to hip hop music, and feels the need to explain. With his very poor English he tries to explain that he was given the wrong drink and did not like it. What came out was I hate black. I used to work at a place that sold used car batteries in a predominantly black neighborhood. We used to mark these batteries with white stickers that read "Econ no power" to mark with date codes for warranty purposes. An older black gentleman walks in wanting to discuss his warranty and that his battery is bad. There is no sticker, so I say to him, "We can only warranty batteries that the white power label on them." He gets rather wide-eyed and asks me what kind of sticker, to which I reply again, "White power ... Oh. 1 second. I head to the back laughing hysterically and make a coworker go finish taking care of him. He finishes his business, gets a new battery, and tells the coworker he'd like to see me before he goes. I walk up still giggling like an idiot and he says to me, "White power my N **A," and we shook hands and had a laugh about it. This is a story about my mother, told to me by my grandmother. My mother and her family lived in rural Kansas in the 60s. It should go without saying that there were very few black people there at the time. Well, one day when my mom was about 4, my grandmother took her into the city to run some errands. When they get to the city, my mom saw a pretty little black girl with braided hair and a very nice Sunday dress. Remember, these descriptions are from my grandmother. My mother, having not ever seen a black person before, was very shocked and exciting. She immediately tugged on my grandmother's dress yelling, "Look mommy, a monkey." My grandmother immediately put her hand over my mother's mouth and left the area. TLDR. My mom called the first black person she ever saw a monkey. Perfect. So my buddy and I went to a themed party a while back. He had been seeing this Asian girl for a while, who was also attending. They were dancing and grinding for most of it. But then I see her sitting in a kissing booth. $1 a kiss. I promptly hand her $20. In my most bro move yet, and tell her to wait there. I run to grab my friend, only to see him dancing with another Asian girl. I tell him I just paid $20 so he could make out with his girl, only to have him ask who am I dancing with. While I was still in school and working at the same time, I would wear casual dress to work and would attend classes before or after work hours. One day, I was wearing a lot of black pants, black blouse, black jacket. I was sitting in class after work and we were arranged groups. Absent-mindedly, I look down at myself and say out loud, "I'm so black today." Mind you, I'm extremely white/pale and there was a black girl sitting next to me. She looks at me, kinda smirks, and says, "Girl, I'm black every day." Okay, so I'm a tiny white girl. It was around 10 o'clock at night and I decided I wanted ice cream. I go outside and walk down my driveway to the corner store. At the same time I noticed I had forgotten my wallet. I make eye contact with two young black men walking in the middle of the street. I make a really startled face because I do not have my money and I try to run back inside my house to grab it. But instead I fall, making me look even more scared of their presence. By now I'm really embarrassed, and so when they call out to ask if I'm okay I just look at them wide-eyed and out into my house. They turned out to be my new neighbors. Yay. I was really hoping you were going to yell at them that you did not have your wallet. I've been waiting for the perfect time to tell this story on here. I was at a huge car show with some friends. We were walking around admiring all of them, and then I pointed ahead of us to a car we were approaching. As soon as I raised my finger, a bee landed on the very tip of my finger. I exclaimed loudly, "Look at that crazy thing." I kid you not, there was a black midget with no arms standing about 5 feet in front of me. Probably top 3 most awkward moments of my life. I went to the movies with some friends, and one person was late. She came into the theater after the previews had already started and went up to find a seat with us. She sits down in what she thinks is an empty seat, only to sit on a black guy's lap. All he said was, "Seats taken." We had a roommate who owned a black cat named Iggy, as one is wont to do with cute furry animals. I gave her nicknames. The one that stuck was Igga. Took a while to realize that it might be misheard. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Click the thumbs up button since you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. There is no more here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. This is not a secret, but subscribe for more edit videos like this.